Greetings and welcome everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David Lotherington, but Galactics refer to me as Ashtar Anar, and we're going to get into that today. I'm a channeler, a psychic surgeon. I've been doing that full time for quite a while now, and a telepath, and some other things as well, but that's not so important for today's video. So today we're going to be getting into telepathy and what is telepathy and how does it work and what's it like being a telepath. So let's get started. So telepathy is the ability to entrain one's frequency to match that of another being. Now, it doesn't necessarily even have to be a being. It can be a collective consciousness. It can be a psychic construct. It can be many, many different things. But essentially anything that contains a soul can be connected to. So a blade of grass, a plant, any animal, even crystals can be connected to energetically and telepathically. Of course, humans, galactics, angelics, and if you're into the other stuff, the darker beings as well. So telepathy is a very powerful tool, and it's a tool that all humans have access and capability of using, but they're not aware that it exists. And if they are aware that it exists, they don't know how to nurture it. So that's what we're going to start to tap into as I do more and more of these videos. So what's the first thing? What is telepathy? I define that it's your ability to entrain your frequency to match that of another person, place, or thing is how I would define it. So you connect energetically to another soul, essentially. And through that process, something called entrainment occurs. Entrainment is when two different frequencies become the same. And then there's the next process, which is called harmonization, which Cal taught me about. And harmonization is when two frequencies are entrained. The harmonization is when they interlink together and they become one. This is essentially what happens when you channel. It also happens when you're in the state of doing the energy healing process. And it also happens while you're doing telepathy. So if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of vibration, frequency, and energy. Those are the words of Nikola Tesla, and they were completely correct. And so it's really changing your frequency is what you need to do to get good at telepathy. Now, most humans are rather dullard when it comes to changing their frequencies. They don't even know that they can do that. And that's totally fine. That's something you need to get used to doing. And for those of you who have more galactic DNA, you're going to notice it's easier to change your frequency than it might be for someone else. And a good sign of that is telling how long does it take you to get into a deep state of meditation, for example. The faster you can get in, then the faster you can entrain to the frequency of harmony or balance or content within oneself, you might say, that internal peace, that frequency. But there's other ways to do it as well. And that's how long it takes you to channel or how long it takes you to connect to a being. So there's a lot of information in these couple of things that I'm saying, but perhaps in future videos, we can extrapolate on that a little bit further. So, all right, so what is it? We got that. So most people think that telepathy is Professor X saying, I don't know, Phoenix, you need to attack Apocalypse, right? Release your power, Gene. That's it. So it can be that from human to human. I do more communication telepathically to galactics. And it's easier for me because they're better at it than humans are. So I'm probably just going to spill a bunch of stuff on telepathy. That's going to be more advanced, but you're here anyway. Might as well learn it, right? So telepathy is broken down into two different categories, I would say. Your ability to send and your ability to receive telepathy. You can be a great sender, but you can suck at receiving. And you can be a great receiver, but suck at sending. And if you're poor at one of these, then you might not be good at telepathy yet. You'll have to round out the other end of your telepathy to get better at it, become a better, more well-rounded telepath. So that takes practice. You get better at doing the psychic arts by practicing, by doing it more often. And in the House of El Mystery School, we practice on Mondays. That's when we do practical training. We do class training on Wednesdays and Sundays. That's the educational component of it. And we help people with their personal issues and things they're going through on Wednesdays and Sundays, as well as the education part. And it's on Mondays that I essentially am working with others and I help them to ensure that they make it up to the frequency that they need to make it to. For example, if they want to go to the Athena ship, Galactic Federation of Light ship, you might say, mothership, I'll help them to entrain to the frequency of the ship and ensure that they get there. What happens a lot of times with telepathy is telepaths will, they're not the best at choosing where they're going with telepathy. They just say, okay, I want to do telepathy. That's my intention. They sit down, they meditate, they take those 3 deep breaths, and then they say, I want to do telepathy, but they don't have a goal. They don't have a destination in mind, or a name, or a sigil, or an identity of a being that they want to connect to, or thing they want to connect with. And what happens is they just go in any direction. So it's best to look at telepathy like this. There are several bandwidths in telepathy, okay? The first bandwidth is the human bandwidth. This is the lower bandwidth. So this is where you're going to talk to plants, animals, humans. Then above here, I would say, is the more true telepathic bandwidth. Typically, like when I'm really relaxed at night, I might hear like 5 people talking to each other, but they don't really know that I'm there. And that's because I kind of drift into this bandwidth while I'm really relaxed. But anyway, this is the telepathic bandwidth. This is where the SSP is typically. And the SSP will try to grab these people who don't know where they're going, people that are just drifting around in the telepathic bandwidth. They say, oh, yeah, we're your guides, or, oh, yeah, we're benevolent. And if you don't have the empathy to feel that they're lying to you, then you can be deceived. So I don't want this video to be too long, but there is a lot of information to talk about. So, and then there is the galactic bandwidth is up here, and then the angelic / ascended master bandwidth. Angelics are a bit above that, but ascended masters are there, and then angels and divine is up here. So what we really want to do is we want to go past the human bandwidth, if that's what your goal is, past the super soldier bandwidth. I just call it that because it's easier. And then into the galactic bandwidth. That allows you to communicate with, most people watching this are probably starseeds, to be honest. So your friends, your family, your loved ones, your soulmates, and that. So you can have your galactic relationship. You can have your camaraderie with your crewmates. So you can have your connections with beings that you love and care so much about, and they care so much about you. That's definitely true. So yeah, if you want to learn more on telepathy, just let me know. And I'll host another class. Perhaps I can do another YouTube class, or I can teach a one-on-one. That'd be good too. All right, so everyone can do telepathy. And you might say, well, I work a 9-to-5 job. I work 40 hours per week. I'm stressed with wife and kids. You can still do it. It's just going to be more difficult. One of the key things to doing telepathy is trying to do it, starting to do it and practice it. Even if you don't really know what you're doing, just start to get the skills of it. And one example of everyday telepathy that happens all the time to you guys is, let's say an image of someone pops into your head, and then a second or two later, you receive a text from them, or an email from them, or a phone call from them. That is telepathy. And what happens in that very moment is, it might be an image, it might be a song that's related to them, it might be a numerical sequence that reminds you of them, for those odd numerical people like myself, I suppose. So what happens is, while they're thinking about you, they're connecting to you energetically. That creates an energetic tether. And that energetic tether is what you're picking up on when you see the image of them, or when you hear their song, or see those numbers. Now, that's telepathy. You're feeling their frequency, and you say, ah, that's them. So as you get more and more used to identifying frequencies of individuals, you'll eventually be able to say, ah, Jenna is calling me or is about to call me or is thinking about me. And as you work on that, you'll get better and better and better at that. And eventually you'll be able to identify all of your friends the moment that they think of you. And that's a pretty powerful tool. So that's just one thing. Man, there's so much to talk about today. So I just want to give a couple examples of what telepathy is like in real life. So telepathy allows you to, yeah, you can communicate with galactics, angelics, uh, plants. You can tell if plants need more water. You don't need to use your eyes. You can just use your telepathy. If they need minerals, if your animals need minerals, if you need minerals, you can communicate with yourself and your body as well. Same thing with any animals that you may have in your life. You can, if they're deficient in something, you can ask, and telepathically they can let you know. It's a powerful tool. You can also tell the intention of something. This is really powerful, and it's helped me in a couple pinches before. When I was in China on a bus, I knew that this guy wanted to steal a jade pendant from the girl I was with. And crime's actually pretty bad in China, but I just had this knowing, this deep knowing. And so I put my arm across her chest over her, where the necklace was for the entire trip. And I could see this guy through the corner of his eye, like looking back at her, at the pendant. So I just left my arm there the entire time. And there was no opportunity for him to reach back and grab it and then run off the bus. So that's like one example of telepathy, for example. Another time was in Mexico when I was with my friend, and it was dark out. We were going to a buffet, and this guy pulled up behind us in a golf cart and said, "Hey, do you guys want to drive?" And then we said no because we had our music, little portable music box. And so he drove away, and not even 2 minutes later, he pulled up behind us again. He said, "Hey, do you guys want to drive?" We looked at each other like, "No, we're good, thanks." Anyway, we walk up, we're just about to go into the restaurant, and then he's on the golf cart with his friend. And I look at my friend, Chris, and I tell him, don't give him the radio or the stereo thingy, little Bose speaker. I said, he wants to steal it. And he just looked at me like weird. Anyway, his friend got out of the cart and said, "Hey, man, cool speaker." And then my friend just looked at me like, that's pretty weird. And then he said, "Can I see it?" And then my friend Chris looked at me and he's like, "No." And he reached out to grab the speaker, and my friend pulled his hand away. And I looked at the guys. I said, "We're really fast runners." And the guy in the golf cart drove away, and he left his friend behind to run away. So that's just two examples of how when you're telepathic, you can sense the intentions of others. And it's a very powerful tool. If someone wants to hurt you, you can feel it. If someone wants to steal from you, you can feel it. If someone's in love with you, you can feel it. That's a pretty cool tool as well. If someone fancies you, you can feel that too. If someone has sexual desire from you, you can feel that in your sacral chakra, depending on your sensitivity. So anyway, those are a few things for telepathy. If you guys are interested in learning more, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video to your friends. Join the House of L. Check out our website on thoel.ca for more information. If you want to join our mentorship program, we begin in October, a new semester, and look forward to seeing you next time. Toodaloo. Bye.